I finally made it to the most recent entry in the series, Resident Evil Village. The game known for goth vampires and... Yeah, I only know about the goth vampires. However, that ends today. As always, I'm going to recap the story, but I'll leave the review portion of the video timestamp below. Probably. Back in my day, I remember the librarian would sit the class down and read "If you give a mouse a cookie," not "If you sacrifice your daughter to a witch." How times have changed. Weird satanic book aside, Ethan and Mia are now happily living in Romania with their daughter Rose. Until Uncle Chris' casualties are just a number, Redfield comes for a visit.
Sorry, Ethan. No!
He kidnaps Ethan and Rose. Unfortunately, our driver takes a wrong turn off a cliff and into the forest. We find a way out and... Is that Hogwarts? Where the hell did they take me? I'm gonna go to the village and greet the locals. Maybe they'll be able to answer some of my questions. Alright, I'm sorry, I'll leave. The farmer with a poor aim arms us as we get attacked. Finally, I don't have to survive all on my own. At least I get some backup now. Stan, no! We get dragged underneath the floor and see what had Stan so worried. If I just back away slowly, maybe he won't notice me. At least he had the decency to not eat the wedding ring. Well, so much for plan A. Time to fall back on plan B. Blaze of Glory. You're gonna have to work to get the kill credit on Ethan Winters. I haven't taken your kind seriously since Taylor Lautner killed any scare factor you people had in Twilight. What the hell, they furrified Hagrid. Well, my luck ran out after all. I put up a good 2-minute fight. I didn't even last half that when conceiving Rose, so I'll consider this my final accomplishment. I'm coming, Mia. They must have found a pack of wild squirrels to chase. This kind elderly lady tells us that Rose is in the village, and spews some cryptic shit. So it looks like the only way I'm gonna get answers is by storming that big-ass castle. Time to see which is superior. European magic or cold hard American steel. Ah, my first victim. Allow me to introduce you to my friend Lemmy. Damn, that's the second game in a row where I've had a strange man force himself into my guts. He takes us to meet the rest of the villains. This time around we have Lady Dimitrescu. Lady D, the one with all the hentai. Heisenberg, the rebellious red-headed stepchild of the family. Donna, the one giving me severe Lies of P flashbacks. Moreau, the accident that was too far along to terminate. And the true big bad of this game, Mother Miranda, the edgy nun. Heisenberg tries to feed us to his pack of werewolves. For a bunch of dongs, they're surprisingly slow. Hagrid, no, don't do it! No! I miss Louisiana. I'd rather go through another one of Lucas's traps than get hit with a giant meat tenderizer again. We escape and find our only real friend in this game, the Duke. So what if he holds the world record for the highest percentage of body fat? It's what's inside that matters. Beneath the 74 inches of fat and the clogged arteries is a heart of gold and bacon grease. He stocks us up on ammo as we prepare to take over Castle Dimitrescu. Alright, listen up you vile harlots. Take me to your mother before shit gets ugly. Not like this, that was my one good knee. We get taken to Lady D who, tortures us? Okay, yeah, there's the torture. I thought I downloaded the wrong game for a sec. I will find them and track them down one by one. They may have won the battle, but I will win the war. Ow, 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 quit stinging me! We get cornered by one of the sisters and find out that they're weak to air. After some extensive research, I can conclude that the logic adds up here. We explore some more of the castle, eventually running into Lady D.
All this for a child who isn't even here.
Listen, if my daughter isn't here, then I have no reason to be here. So, would you kindly, please stop slamming my head against the fucking floor? We teach the middle sister the beauty of American self-defense, and the oldest sister learns about the art of the double tap, before coming face to face with Mother D. She enters me, then I enter her, and she transforms into a fucked up blue eyes white dragon. Luckily, I'm always prepared for this type of scenario. You know I always keep a trap card on me. We get rewarded with a dirty flask. Sweet, I'm about to sell this to the Duke for a shitload of money. Somehow, Miranda split Rose into 4 pieces, and we need to gather all the parts to reassemble her. Now, I'm not an expert, but I don't think that's how kids work. She's a baby, not a freaking Lego set. I'm doing all this when for Father's Day all I got was a pen. Whatever, onto House Bienevento. It's surprisingly calm. The puppets hanging on nooses are pretty welcoming, and the house itself is nice and simple. Just some quick puzzle solving until we find a giant fetus. I think I'm gonna go ahead and name it Zoe, because just like the other Zoe, this one's also getting abandoned. We confront Donna, who instead of attacking us with the hundreds of puppets she's got in this house, challenges us to a game of hide and seek. I hope she's burning next to Geppetto in hell. For the next flask, we walk up, take it, and canoe away. Last up is Heisenberg. This shit started and ends with him.
Stay the fuck down!
Chris, you're lucky your guy has me locked in an armbar. Wait, so that's shark in the lake? The nearest ocean is a couple hundred miles. Oh shit! You know, Moreau, I underestimated you. If I could, I'd give this flask back. Rose can grow up without arms for all I care, learning to use chopsticks with her feet. Unfortunately, my pride in you is overshadowed by all of this unyielding rage. Don't you worry, she'll be joining you soon enough. Now, we storm Heisenberg's lair. Think I'm gonna have to start referring to myself as Kristen Stewart. The way I'm fucking up these werewolves! Heisenberg wisely decides not to fight us after watching us turn him into Miranda's only child. Instead, he gives us the flask and wants to meet up. We go to the factory, and he explains that he wants to use Rose to overthrow Miranda. Despite being a newborn, she's basically the Anakin Skywalker of the mold. We decline his offer to use Rose to bring balance to the mold, and get Spartan kicked into a pit. Probably shouldn't have taken that seat next to the big growling hole. This dude combined bioweapons with machinery. Take me back to the Goth vampires. I'd rather go through that whole ordeal again than fight a walking jet engine. We make our way through Heisenberg's House of Horrors, until we cross paths once again. If we could do this, why the hell did he need Rose? We fall 50 stories and land right next to Chris, who gives us an exposition dump while he builds a tank. You see, the Mia that got filled up with more lead than a World War II bunker was Miranda in disguise. 20 plus years in the bioweapon killing industry, and he's surprised a handgun and 2 SMGs didn't kill Miranda. He gives us a tank built out of scrap metal to go fight the guy with magnet powers. By some miracle it works when a wild Miranda appears, to reveal that the reason Rose is so special is that she's Evelyn's reincarnation, and then she yanks Ethan's heart out. I should have teamed up with Heisenberg. Well, hindsight's 2020. We switch over to everyone's favorite boulder-punching asshole, mowing down everything that moves, until he finds the Megamycete, the source of the mold. And Mia too. She's acting awfully aggressive to the guy who already gunned down her imposter. It'd be a shame if she had to meet the same fate. Chris tells her about Ethan's death, which she denies. I'm pretty sure getting your heart ripped out of your chest is a guaranteed death 99% of the time. Oh hey, we go back to Ethan, who learns from Evelyn that Jack killed him back at the Baker house. Must have been that car crash in the garage. Or the chainsaw fight in the basement. Or the punch that made his head spin around like a Looney Tunes character. Yeah, no normal human was surviving all that. Ethan wakes up to the Duke escorting him to the final battle. Duke, you've treated me well. I apologize for all the fat jokes I said to your face and behind your back. Thank you. I take back every word I just said. This cheap bastard knows I'm off to my death and still has the balls to charge me for weapon upgrades? He better hope Miranda kills me, because if not, I'm refunding all this ammo in a violent manner. Miranda sacrifices Rose to the mold and the ritual fails. Ha! A century's worth of research down the drain. Anyways, I believe you have my property. I was hoping it would be that simple. Huh, turns out Chris was right. Bullets can kill her. He just didn't use enough. Miranda dies and Rose is safe. It's okay, don't cry. Blame your mother and your sketchy-ass job for getting us into this mess. Ethan starts to calcify, so we pass Rose onto her Uncle Chris while we blow up the village, allowing the others to escape. I hope Duke got caught in that blast. Due to budgeting issues, the BSAA is now using bioweapons as soldiers. Because why constantly hire new ones when you can bring back the old ones for free? But Chris and his pesky sense of morality get in the way, and he heads off to get answers. We close with a grown-up Rose visiting Ethan's grave. Well, at least the pieces of what they could sweep up from the wreckage of the village. And we see that Rose developed some homicidal tendencies. She must have gotten that from her moldy stepsister. Village reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 4. And not just because of the obvious parallels, European villages, missing daughters, and whatever else. But they managed to blend horror, action, and goofiness so well. Although at times I did feel like there was too much action. Which really had me thinking, after all the positive reception Biohazard got, about the horror series finally being scary again. Why did Capcom decide to implement more action sequences? It wasn't at the point where the horror was taking a back seat. But Biohazard proved the fans wanted more horror. What the hell's the point in adding more of what caused the decline of the series in the first place? I just hope they don't go too overboard in the next game. The villains this time around are more based on classic folklore monsters. You got vampires, werewolves, witches, creatures in the lake, and whatever the hell Donna is based on. R.L. Stein, maybe? A part of me is curious to see what other monsters they could use in the future. I think cryptids could work. Every place on the planet has its own urban legend, so regardless of where the game is set, you could work with the Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabras, Thunderbirds. However, at the same time, I want the zombies back. Growing up, I always knew Resident Evil as the zombie game, so to deviate even further from that would be weird. But it also opens up all these other possibilities to go down. The village itself has a great map layout, creepy atmosphere. I wouldn't necessarily call it scary though. Looking back at Biohazard, what made the Baker residence so eerie is that it's confined and secluded. For 3 years, people are driving by this abandoned house with no idea about the horrors that are happening in there. It's scary because think about your own town and how many abandoned houses you pass by in your daily life. There's a story behind why they're decrepit and left behind. Now, is it a genetically engineered little mold girl? Probably not. But the use of something you wouldn't bat an eye to is why the Baker house works so well. The village inherently doesn't carry that same vibe. Where are you going to come across a giant castle? Fucking Disneyland? It just feels like it had a bunch of potential that never got realized. By the time you get there, most of the villagers are dead, and it's overrun by lichens. It would have been better to get to a lively village that's praising Miranda, and after each dungeon they slowly descend into insanity, or get turned into lichens or what have you. Instead, it feels like a long loading screen while going from point A to point B. The everyman archetype for Ethan works better here too. It's mostly due to his interactions with the other characters. You can feel his determination to glue his daughter back together. It's no longer, Zoe told you to go here, Lucas is making you go over there. Instead, your actions feel like more of a choice. You don't have to fix Rose. You want to. And you want Ethan to make it out and raise his daughter. It makes him feel more three-dimensional while maintaining that character archetype. And it made his death feel more impactful. One thing that probably got overlooked by most players was the voice acting in those final few scenes. The cracking of his voice when he says goodbye, Rose. And in this death scene, no words are spoken. You only hear his breathing getting progressively heavier and heavier as he stares down the Megamyce seat. It's the first time the series made me care about a character's death. Now that Ethan's story is over, I hope the next entry focuses on all the characters that have been on the back burner for the past couple of games. I want to see a Resident Evil 2 reunion between Claire, Sherry, and Leon, and have Chris meet up with the 2 partners he didn't get killed. Screw it, at this point Jake, Rose, and Sherry could form their own bioweapon half-breed task force. No matter where Capcom takes the series, I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm finally done with my first long series. It feels bittersweet. When I first started this, I thought, it'll be a quick series. 2, maybe 3 months tops. That was over a year ago now, so I might have slightly miscalculated. And in all this time, I hadn't finished Resident Evil 1. I might go back now that I've had over a year to cool off. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. I gotta stop saying that. I have so many videos on the back burner that I can only get done if you subscribe. Or don't. Either way, I'ma head out. Later.